In this video I'm going to review the top 5 best CPU for Arma 3. Arma 3 is a realism-based game played all over the world. Equipping your PC with the best CPU for Arma 3 requires you to decide the parts first of all. I researched a number of CPUs and filtered out some of the best for a better experience of Arma 3. I will leave the links to the discussed CPUs in the description, you can check them for more information and latest prices. Starting our list with Intel Core i5-2300. Intel Core i5-2300 is a desktop processor based on Sandy Bridge architecture with socket 1155. With a TDP of 95 watts, the Core i5-2300 expends a decent amount of energy, so not too much cooling is necessary. Intel's processor supports DDR3 memory that features dual-channel interfaces. The Core i5-2300 utilizes a PCI Express 3rd generation connection to communicate with other parts of the machine. It is the most appropriate CPU for Arma 3 since it includes the Intel HD 2000 series illustrations. With the Core i5-2300, you can virtualize your equipment, which significantly improves virtual machine performance. These processors will support projects that use advanced vector extensions, which will boost performance for overwhelming application count situations. Intel builds the Core i5-2300 using a 32nm creation process that uses 1160 million transistors. Overclocking is restricted on Core i5-2300 due to the multiplier. Because Intel's i5-2300 is readily available at an affordable price, its features and performance give it the best value for the money, and I also recommend it as the best CPU for Arma 3. At number 2 it is AMD Phenom 2X4940. AMD Phenom 2X4940 is easily accessible at an affordable price as AMD works, especially for the customer's pockets. In the battle to be the best Arma 3 CPU, the X4940 is a real contender. There are a few areas in which the Intel processor will be faster than the Phenom 2X4940. In this case, you do not need to make a decision if you use a processor that performs better on Intel hardware. X4940 is utilizing the Deneb engineering with socket AM3. Equipment virtualization is accessible on the Phenom 2X4940B, which extraordinarily improves virtual machine performance. With a TDP of 125 watts, the Phenom 2X4940B devours a great deal of intensity, so excellent cooling is undoubtedly required. AMD's processor underpins DDR3 memory with a dual-channel interface. This processor doesn't have integrated graphics, you will need a GPU. You may openly alter the open multiplier on Phenom 2X4940B, which disentangles overclocking extraordinarily. Due to its overclocking feature and an incredible cost, make it the best CPU for Arma 3. The third one is Intel i7-7700K. Intel i7-7700K is a little expensive choice, but is considered a performance champion. Not the best CPU for Arma 3, it is suitable for modern titles and will give a true companionship in nearly future technologies. Designed for execution, the Core i7-7700K packs 4 high-performing cores with a center base recurrence of 4.2 GHz and 8 MB of reserve memory. Include Intel hyper-threading technology for 8 root performing multiple tasks to convey the exhibition killer blow. For the devotee, the i7-7700K is opened, you can change the presentation to its fullest potential. The processor fulfills Arma 3 system requirements very well and additionally has the potential to work, play, and create longer on a single charge. The i7-7700K is familiar with the Intel codename Kaby Lake. It extends from 91 watt on the standard work area down to 4.5 watt for notepad processors. All utilizing the equivalent hidden innovation in the various Enters Coordinated Illustrations series. The i7-7700K is the top piece of this processor family, highlighting 4 centers with hyperthreading, a 4.2 GHz base recurrence, a 4.5 GHz turbo recurrence. Intel i7-7700K onboard graphics performance is just average. For some reason, it is disabled by default in the BIOS and doesn't used. But with the Intel Speed Shift technology, the i7-7700K will satisfy each need rapidly and consistently get 0.5 second wake with Windows. At number 4 it is AMD FX4350. AMD FX4350 is a quad-core desktop processor and belongs to the AMD FX family. Vishera architecture with socket AM3+ is utilized. The CPU operates at 4.2 GHz but can boost up to 4.3 GHz with a heavy workload. AMD has built this processor with a 32nm production process. When I talk about the suitable options of the title, the AMD FX4350 is the best CPU for Arma 3. However, Arma 3 system requirements are straightforward and it can be easily playable with any AMD cheap options. Suppose the purpose is only to play Arma 3, then no need to pay more just for a game. When the goals are more, the FX 3450 is the best CPU for Arma 3 and other applications. With a TDP of 125 watt, the FX 4350 expends a ton of intensity, so excellent cooling is undoubtedly required. AMD's processor underpins DDR3 memory with a dual-channel interface. For correspondence with different parts in the framework, FX 4350 utilizes a PCI Express Generation 2 association. This processor doesn't have incorporated designs. You will require a different illustration card. When I talk about single-threaded performance, it comes up with some poor results, and I can say it is a gray area of FX 4350. But AMD FX devices come furnished with AMD Turbo Core technology, and it is a presentation-boosting innovation. And the last one is Intel Core 2 Duo E8400. It is a center-level processor that runs on the LGA 775 chipset. With a 3.0 GHz speed running on 2 centers, it has a 6 MB store that offers quick access to the projects that you need the most. It's likewise worked to overclock and can arrive at 3.8 GHz without the need for overvolting. It's additionally more vitality proficient than its quad-core partners, with a TDP of just 65 watts. Therefore, this CPU is appropriate for the financial plan disapproved of by gamers and fans alike. If you are a person who does not only use your system for gaming, then this CPU will give you kick-ass performance in all tasks. EVGA GTX 465 1GB GDDR5 GPU makes the right combination with this Core 2 Duo E8400 if the concern is to play Arma 3. The Core 2 Duo E8400 is a locked CPU, and it limits its overclocking capabilities. Core 2 Duo E8400 utilizes a PCI Express Generation 2 association for correspondence with different segments in the machine. This device doesn't have a coordinated design card. With this 5th Core 2 Duo E8400, we come to the end of our review. These all 5 are the best CPU for Arma 3. Now it's up to you which will meet your budget and requirements. In my opinion, Intel i7-7700K is the overall best CPU in terms of performance, playing games and video editing. But if you have a low budget, then get an AMD Phenom 2X4940 CPU. The